Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Tell them that. 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 Yeah.
Welcome again to the Sixth Gear Podcast. Today I'm in Orlando. Once again, we are at the VIP Wheel and Sound in Orlando, and out here we want to bring to you from Wasabi Meats, Nicole from Wasabi. What's up, Nicole?
Everything good? How are you?
All right.
It's been forever, but hey.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying earlier, because we had a cut because of the sound and all that stuff, you know, that I've been wanting to get you on the podcast, and because of all the things that I wanted to get more people on it.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to, but here we are, you know, and I just wanted to get some background from you before we start.
Gotcha.
I know you have a car show coming up. Can you give us a little bit of details on that? Don't go too far, because I want to leave some for the last. At least when is it? When is it?
It's gonna be July 28th. We got a show at Elevate on July 28th, from 10 to 4 p.m. It's gonna be at the Sanford, Florida location. So we're excited. I'm excited. It's the first show of 2024.
Nice. But you've had other car shows before, because I know you've had like little car shows. Because I remember I went to one. That was like my first car show here in Orlando. I came. It was your car show.
Yes.
How many others have you done before this big one? Because I know this is gonna be a big one.
In compared to possibly other people that have been doing car shows for a long time, I would say myself, I've done about 2 actual car shows. Everything else has been more based on, you know, car meets, car events,
building
things like
up,
that.
building up. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, where originally you from? You originally from here, from Jackson? I was gonna say Jackson.
You mean Orlando?
From Orlando.
No. Well, I originally, I mean, if we get technical, I am actually from Honduras. Even though Florida, consists.
Puerto Rican.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody, I get that all the time. They're like, "What? No way!" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm from Honduras," and I came here when I was like around 11. So I would consider myself at this point a Floridian, to be honest, because I haven't left Florida from then.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What got you into the car culture? Because as being you're like, I've only seen one female out here in Orlando doing it the way you're doing it. What got you in the car culture?
To be honest with you, growing up, I always had a lot of friends who were car enthusiasts, but I didn't really actually go into a real show back until March of 2019, which I went to a Clean Culture show.
Nice.
That was the first official show that I went to that was massive. And just with there was a culture shock, just the community, the people that I met out there, just the amount of love, even though I wasn't as familiar as everyone else who was going to that show, that I received. I was like, I think I found my calling. I was like, I think this is it for me. So, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Everybody takes it in different, you know, and depending on how excited, like you know, you got excited and you was like, hold up, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
How often do you hold your car meets when you do them?
So I actually host events once a month. As of right now, we do a once a month event. We call it Fitment Culture. Before I actually came up with an actual name for the monthly events, I played around with different titles, different names to kind of get, you know,
a good vibe off the name.
Not only a good vibe, but I wanted the concept for everyone to understand that Wasabi Meats is solely a movement for the community, regardless of whether you got a car that you're just starting off, if you've been doing this for years, if you're an expert. I wanted an event that allowed everyone to feel welcome.
Nice.
And that's why we came up with Fitment Culture. And, you know,
That name fits pretty good, man.
It does.
Like when I heard it, I was like, "Oh shit!"
It does.
She got it on the nose. Yeah.
We go back to that whole thing with clean culture. People always ask me like, "Oh, how did wasabi come about? Like, where did that come from?"
Exactly. Where did that come? Because I'm like, hold up, that's Chinese, man.
Yeah, I'm like, well, originally March, like I told you, in 2019 was when I went to my first show. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm a very social person. I'm an extreme social butterfly. I met a lot of people, and then I actually landed an opportunity in June of 2019 to help a friend out that was leaving the state. He was the one that originally came up with the name Wasabi Meats. And the plan that we had come up with was I'm going to go out, I'm going to leave out of state for a few months. You're going to take over, you're going to help me, host the event, and I'm going to come back, and then me and you are going to do it together. He never came back. And I think it was less than a month while he was out there. He was like, I'm not going to come back. He moved out to Tennessee. He was like, I already started my own movement out here. He was like, so you're going to keep it.
So is it the same thing, wasabi over there and wasabi over here, or he did
no,
something
out
totally
there he
different?
created a whole new brand.
Oh,
he
nice.
Yeah, he rebranded himself and just renamed himself completely different. When he started out here, it wasn't getting as big, so I guess
traction. It didn't get traction.
I don't know if it was that. It's just I guess he was people were I don't know. People weren't coming to his events as much.
Oh, okay.
And I guess it wasn't being promoted as much. It was just a few people came out there or out here, and he was like, look, it's not working out for me. He was like, I'm just going to go to another state, rebrand it, and do it out there. But I thought it was only for vacation. And yeah, then I kept wasabi, and then I just like, okay. I don't know. Maybe I look Chinese or Japanese, and that's why people come to my events. I was like, ah.
Well, I know by experience, in Jacksonville, I know a few females that do car meets, and are car club owners, and they get good traction. I don't know if it's, because they try to support a female because, a lot of females don't get that support because it's a man, quote unquote, community and stuff.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah. So how you been handling that since you started? Have you been getting a lot of resistance, or have you had people just flow in and support you fully?
To be honest, it was hard at first, especially like I said to you, the first year of me hosting events, it was really difficult. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were kind of giving me a pushback. They were like, oh, well, what does she know? How does she, she doesn't know nothing about the car culture. What kind of car is she driving? And I have my little Volkswagen Jetta. And I was like, listen, but even with that kind of environment, like I said, I fell in love with the community. I love the concept behind it, the message that I wanted to bring to wasabi. And that's why I was like, yeah, no. I'm like, it doesn't matter how much hate I get. The more hate I got, the more it motivated me to keep going. Because there's that one concept.
I'm going to show them
that
it's
that one concept that you get where, they tell you all the time, the more people dislike what you're bringing to the table, the more you're putting yourself out there. That means if it's, if other people are getting bothered by it, that means that you're doing something right.
Yeah, you're doing something right.
So I was like, yeah, I'm going to keep pushing.
Because a lot of people they can't do what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And by them not being able to do that, they get frustrated. You know
they
what I'm
do.
saying? And that gets to them. It just tears them up on the inside. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, right now you're doing it big. You got the car show coming in. You've been flawlessly how many years since 2019 you've been doing this?
I would say 5 years now.
5 years?
5 years now. 5 years.
See?
Thankfully, I have the support of Miami Grill too. They're one of the biggest sponsors that I got right now too as well.
Nice.
It's a restaurant that originated from Miami and now is out here. So it's like the amount of support that they're giving me, allowing me using their locations. They just reopened another location in Orlando, is giving us more flexibility to expand the event throughout Florida as well. So
okay, that's cool.
It's working out.
I noticed that at one point you had posted up that you was like stepping away from the car scene and all that stuff. Was you needed a break? What was going on?
Just family. I did need a break too as well. I feel that a lot of times, especially with car meets, things are always constantly changing. The community is constantly changing. New generations of car enthusiasts are coming out. So it's like you constantly have to adapt yourself. And, with me doing the consistent events that I was doing, I was feeling burned out. So I was like, you know what? I'm like, if I want to continue the passion that I have for it, I got to take a break. Let me focus on family. Let me focus on myself. And then the more I self-develop, I'll have an opportunity to just come out here and go even harder for the car community. So
yeah, you get that way. You take that step back, look at everything from an angle, different angle, and then be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and then execute it. I totally get it. Me personally, in the winter, I don't do car meets.
No.
Yeah, I stay away from that. I just hate the fact that I have to stand outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've said in a couple of other podcasts, and I'd say to everybody, don't expect a car meet from me in the winter. Probably you'll get like an end of the year car meet in December, or first of the year car meet in January. But throughout those months that it's cold, that you can barely stand it, I don't do car meets. I leave it all for the summer, because that way people enjoy coming out and they have more fun doing it.
My birthday's in December, so I gotta host in December. I always gotta host in December, always.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you have like a birthday car meet?
I did. It wasn't last year, actually the year before. My birthday's December 30. So I actually, the last Friday of, I think it was 2023 or 2024, 22. December 30 was the last Friday of the year, and I blew the house. Listen.
That's nice.
It was huge. It was huge, 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 huge. We had a lot of the culture out there. Car shows, the racers, what they call them. We had a variety. We had bikes, everything was out there. And it was like, they were like, this is your birthday. It was the last event of the year. We're going to blow this out of the water.
Thinking about doing another one this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if it doesn't fall on my birthday, I still like to do that one last end of the year banger event. Just to kind of, close the year on a good note, on a good vibe, show love to everybody, and then get ready to receive the year in good spirits.
Yeah.
Hype.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the car culture today than what it was when you first joined?
It's changed a lot.
And I know you said that it's constantly changing.
It's constantly changing. Now I feel that, at least for those who are hosting events in a legit way, where you're getting permits or you're doing everything, as much as possible legally. Right now, we're kind of going against the people that are doing takeovers. I feel like as of recently, I know takeovers have been out for a really long time, but as of recently, I feel with the new generation coming out, it's being promoted a lot more. So it's
just because of social media.
It is because of social media.
I've seen the group that does it here in Jacksonville, not Jacksonville. Jacksonville's over that shit.
Yes, in Orlando.
Yeah, in Orlando. And I seen, there was a group that used to stand for something that was positive.
Yeah.
And totally went the opposite way with it. I don't know if it was the clout. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, but I know the story. You know what I'm saying?
Behind it.
Huh?
You know the story behind it?
Yes, I know the story behind it. I know the story how he got there too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's sad, because, we're all trying to fight to keep this culture alive and, to where everybody could come together and be united and have something decent so families could come out and enjoy. And then you got these guys that come out and tear up the streets, tear up the businesses, and then we can't do nothing because the businesses will kick us out of the property because they can't trust us anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's sad that it has to get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
And that's probably one of the biggest challenges, at least for car hosts, to have to prove yourself or find evidence or find things that you can show, like, hey, listen, everything that I do is legit. I can't tell you enough how many times I've gone to a business or I've gone to speak to an owner and be like, hey, listen, we host this event. You know, I show them our social media. I have business cards. And they don't even look in my direction. They're like, no, we don't trust you guys. We already know what kind of, you know, people you guys bring out here. So we'll pass. So it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
The thing about it is that, you know, the people that are loyal to your concept will come.
They do.
But your flyer will reach those that are doing the dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're the ones who tear it up.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad that it has to come like that. There's gonna be laws that are gonna you know, block everybody from doing any type of thing. You know what I'm saying? What we do in Jacksonville, I keep getting mixed up with Jacksonville and Orlando. What we do in Jacksonville, at least I do, I promote having cops on site. We go to, you know, and apply for the cops, but it's gotten to the point where they're so expensive for 4 hours. Like, it's like,
oh, I know,
60. They got it by tiers. It's like the second tier is like 60 something, the first tier is like 30, and the third tier or fourth is like 70 something an hour. And I'm like, dude, and then you apply for it and you put tier 2. They say the common one for the cops to grab is the tier 2. They don't even apply. You got to be in the 70 something so they can, you know, respond and say, hey, I'm gonna go to your meets. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because we're trying to do shit the legit way. You know what I'm saying? And
that's what I tell people. I'm like, look, you know, at the end of the day, at least the people that are hosting meets, I'm like, we are trying to create what I call a safe haven for all car enthusiasts, right? I'm not charging. I'm like, I'm not doing this for money. This is not for money. This is not for any of that. Can you make a business out of this? Absolutely. You know, I've had the privilege to see, you know, to be able to make money at some point when I've done a show. But the concept behind it has been to create that kind of, you know, safe haven, that place where everybody can go. And that's the one thing that I take very pride in when it comes to Wasabi. You know, having families, kids, parents, grandparents, grandmothers. I remember the first year when I hosted a car event with Wasabi, I had a lady email me on my page telling me how grateful she was that I had taken the time to do an event because her husband had passed away from cancer just a few months before that. And that was something that her, along with her 2 twin daughters, used to do with her husband. And that when they came out, it meant so much to her. She was like, it meant so much to me. She was like, to come out to your events and feel safe.
Nice.
She was like, you know, people weren't doing stupid stuff. There were no, you know, they weren't destroying the property. There were no, you know, doing donuts and just drifting in the middle of the streets. Everyone was very respectful. She was like, and I'm 100% behind you about that. So it's those small things that I'm like, nah.
It gives you more energy in terms to do it again and keep doing it the right way.
It does.
I totally feel you on that. Where do you see the car scene in Orlando going?
I mean, the car scene is never gonna go away. I'll tell you that. It's never gonna go away. We're never going anywhere. If anything, I think it's just going to continue to grow. And the more we stay together, meaning we learn to work with each other, we stop competing with each other, you know, we learn to support whatever the movement is, as long as it's something that's going to create a positive message for anyone who is not part of the community, it's going to continue to just grow, you know. And that's the one thing that I tell everyone all the time. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I know Wasabi might not be as big as other, you know, movements or as other names. I'm like, but the way that I'm building it is all based on that mindset, you know, respect, love, and passion for cars.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, your group. You are a group, are you?
We're not a car club.
You're not a car club.
No, we're not a car club.
So it's just you.
It's just me. It's me and a few of my friends behind me that are
Nice.
supporting the movement. And that's the one thing I've been asked multiple times in the years that I've done Wasabi. So, is it a car club? Are you guys a car club? Like, how many cars do you guys have? I'm like, it's not a car club. I'm like, the original idea was to make it a movement, and I kept to that. I'm like, because I don't want no animosity behind it.
Yeah,
I'm
it's,
like,
it's a lot of drama behind
It
car
is.
clubs and all that stuff. Yeah, and I totally get it. That's why I do my own thing.
Yeah.
And I don't do car clubs. You know, I promote a lot of car clubs. You know, and I encourage them, and
Me too.
sometimes I sponsor some of the car clubs. You know, and so you know, and kind of guide them because there's a lot of young kids coming up. You know, and
Yeah.
you want to guide them to do how to do it the right way. You know.
right. It's the same concept as me. You know, it's what I tell everybody. I'm like, we're not a car club. I'm like, will I ever be a car club? I've considered it. I have thought about it. I have considered it. I would not manage that just simply because there's already so many other pieces to Wasabi that I'm working on that.
And I noticed that before on your logo it was just Wasabi Meats.
Yes.
Now you changed it to Wasabi Productions.
Yes.
So what's the concept of that?
There's a story behind it. We're trying to try something different.
Okay.
Because it's Wasabi Meats, I was like, it's cool. I like the idea. I like the name of it. I'm like, but this is gonna be like I said, it's a production thing. We want to start doing shows. We want to do everything 100% legit. You know, I want when people think of a Wasabi event, they think, oh no, we want to get to the level of clean culture, you know, because
Nice.
like I said to you, that's what originally
That was
triggered
the-
my
that was-
passion.
that
I'm
was
like,
the
so
goal.
that's the goal to get to that level. So it's like, even if it's a car meet, we do it in a way that it's almost the same as a show, but you're not paying for it. You know, you got the food vendors, you got the different type of vendors. We got, you know, the giveaways. Right now, people have requested, yo, can you guys do trophies? I'm like, oh, so you guys want trophies too? I'm like, man.
At the car meets?
At the car meets. Like,
Wow.
the last event that we had was,
But don't you think like at a sorry, I didn't
No,
mean
I
to
got
cut you
you.
off. At that point you have to charge to get in?
yeah, we've thought about it. I'm like, you know, guys, I'm like, if we start doing things like that, I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to have to start charging. And they're like, nah. They're like, well, it's worth it. They're like, because we know when we come out to your event, they're like, we're not going to
nice.
get, cops are not coming in. They were like, you know, we're not going to have people doing no stupid, you know, stuff out here. So they're like, we rather pay someone who we know that knows how to do an event can compare to someone who's brand new to this and they're just getting empty parking lots and just putting their address on the flyers.
Yeah.
Like, all right, meet me here.
Yeah.
And then switching location to location. Like, nah, we don't got time for that.
It's a family driven
Exactly.
event, so you know you got people with children everywhere. You know, it's something stable in
Right.
one place and that's it. So what can you tell me about the car show? I want to hear more details about the car show.
So
and all that stuff. Let's
our
talk
car
about
show
that.
coming up on July 28th. I'm actually super excited. It's going to be the first show right now for 2024. We are collaborating with a really good friend of mine who established his own movement out in Texas. So we're bringing Florida and Texas together to do a car show out here for Elevate. We were waiting for the city permits. We're going to be doing different kind of categories. We're looking at models, photographers. We're even going to have VIP access into the actual facilities where we're going to be allowed to park cars inside of there too as well.
Nice.
So we got a lot of stuff coming out there.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's going to be their first tour out here in Florida.
How many
so.
how many trophies and what categories or can we expect?
Trophies
at that
wise, we don't have a set number yet.
show? Okay.
I know we've talked about more than 30 trophies because we want to open up different categories. For categories, we have about 15 categories right now, but
Nice.
nothing, you know, we
Crazy.
haven't announced it because we want to see first what kind of vehicles are registering and if we're going to need more of those category trophies so that we can make sure that, you know, we'll look out for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So after this one, have you tunneled your vision to the next one?
Yeah, actually. So with us doing this one here in July, we've been having talks about one in November. So, but this one will be an exclusive Wasabi show with no collaborating, just
Wasabi by itself.
Wasabi Productions by itself doing a show.
Nice.
We've done them in the past. People know we'll bring out models, DJs, food trucks. We do everything.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about that too as well.
That's what's up. That's nice. Yeah, definitely. It's always good to shine by yourself. It's
Yeah.
good when you do collaborations because it helps with, everything else that it brings along. But it's always good to have that light, that spotlight on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really appreciate you coming by, man. Take the time to come over here and doing the podcast with me and stuff. I know you was kind of nervous and
I am. Even right now, I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying inside. I was like, but I'm just excited. I'm excited to be able to come to at least my first podcast to be with you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Because we know each other from like way back.
Yeah.
And then having an opportunity to talk about wasabi, what wasabi is. For anybody who's interested in the Wasabi events, you guys can always find us on Instagram at Wasabi Productions. On Facebook as Wasabi Meets. We do have a website too as well, www.wasabiproductions.com. That's where we're going to be doing a lot of our accessory line too. We're working on that, creating an accessory line, more shows, and just, trying to spread the word and put the word out there and get the community to come out and just, support and keep it going. Keep it going.
That's what's up. The sky's the limit, right?
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming by again, like I said, and hopefully you'll do a show in Jacksonville one day.
I've heard about that. I've heard about that.
I know you've collabed. Really?
Yes.
I know you've collabed over there in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Back when with the Bandits one time.
Yes.
Before they went rogue and started doing all the crazy stuff,
Yes.
and that was insane. But they're not there no more. It's just a shadow. But definitely do something out there, and I think it would be good. You have a positive feedback about that too, back there.
That.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll collab together.
That sounds good.
Listen.
Yeah.
We bring the spice, you bring the sauce. Let's go. Chop it up.
Hell yeah. Well, we got to talk about that then.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm down.
I appreciate everybody tuning in. Nicole from Wasabi.
Hey.
Anything you want to say before we go?
Send it.
6 out. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Tell them that. Tell them that. Tell them that. Tell them that.